This is the Defenders on TV Podcast Industries. We're back for the second episode of Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Shoot the Moon.
What the hell was Bullseye doing there?
Could have killed me. Same as the task force.
Yeah, but he didn't. So what is that? Just more of his insanity, or does he have a reason?
Well, killing task force only helps Fisk, right? He's already saying I'm a terrorist. So each body Poindexter drops is just another hung on me.
Yeah, and it pisses off Fisk, so that's what, 2 birds, 1 bullet.
Right, but he doesn't want me dead.
Well, I don't give a shit, he killed Foggy. Those task force psychos put a bullet in his head.
Karen, that's not helpful.
I imagine you feel the same.
Welcome back, fellow Defenders, to TV Podcast Industries. We're back with the second episode of Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Shoot the Moon. I'm one of your hosts, Derek.
Hello there, fellow Defenders. I am one of your other hosts, John. Welcome back to our podcast coverage of Daredevil Born Again, Season 2. We will have our pub quiz, Josie's pub quiz, later on in this installment of the podcast. Yes. And of course, as always, if you're joining us afresh, please head on over to tvpodcastindustries.com where you can subscribe to any good or evil podcast catcher of your choice. And you can, of course, send us in feedback, your thoughts, your theories, your observations on all the episodes of Daredevil.
Absolutely. And I promise we will have our second question in the Josie's Bar quiz later on in the podcast, and it will be far harder than last week's podcast question because we didn't know the name of the episode was going to be the answer to the question. I don't think we've ever given out an easier question. I think you just need to write down the name, even if you didn't hear last week's episode. Just write down the name of the episode, and that's the answer.
And I gave a hint as well.
No, hilarious. Look, sometimes these things happen. Sometimes we get caught up. But John, we should talk about one quick thing before we kick into the podcast. Something we didn't mention, myself and Chris talked about the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer that came out on our Invincible podcast, which we're covering as well on TV Podcast Industries. But one thing that we noticed in that trailer we didn't talk about, we should talk about here on the Daredevil podcast.
Absolutely, we should, yes.
Yeah, because Spider-Man, the hero of New York, gets the key to the city from a character that we love in Daredevil Born Again.
Yes, Sheila Rivera, the head of the mayor's office.
That's right.
Our good old friend Sabrina Guevara, who was there all the way back with Gotham TV podcast for ourselves. But yes, giving the keys to New York to one Spider-Man.
Yes.
A vigilante, maybe, in plain sight, being given the keys to the city. So very interesting to see how that end point comes about.
Absolutely. It's going to be about a month after the Punisher movie, which has been confirmed now for May 12th. The Punisher also featuring quite heavily in the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. So, really interesting developments that'll come up, but very cool seeing Sabrina Guevara in there in the movies now, because we've tracked our podcast all the way back to the first episode, back to Gotham, where Sabrina Guevara played Captain Sarah Essen in the Gotham City Police Department. So kind of cool that we're going all the way to this year and she's in an MCU movie now. So cool.
Absolutely. But it is interesting that they did plonk her in it. Given this is live and it's suggestive of what may turn out in this series.
I know, speculation. That's what they love over at Marvel, though. That's why they enjoy doing this kind of stuff. I'm surprised they didn't digitally remove her just so that we didn't all see the speculation.
Exactly.
Because there may have been one or two other characters digitally removed from the trailer once again, like they did with the last Spider-Man movie. That's the speculation going on as well. But yeah, always cool to see one of our wonderful cast members from all the shows that we've been covering, especially someone that we've been covering right the way back to the start of Gotham, getting a movie role. So awesome stuff. John, we recorded a little bit early last week because we got these episodes in advance of the release of them. So we've got some feedback in for Daredevil Born Again, Season 1, Episode 1, the first episode of the season. I really wanted to talk about it because I wanted to hear what our fellow Defenders are thinking so far of this first episode. We're going to start out with some email feedback. If you want to send in your email feedback to us, you can email us to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com, just like Coffee and Vodka does. He sent in his thoughts on the first episode. He says, "Greetings, fellow Double D defenders. I spelt AVTF in Fiskville, apparently, holds as tightly as it can to the roots and tone of the original series, despite the unfortunate baggage of some of the first season of Born Again. Seeing, for example, Didi fight a bunch of goons amidst stacked containers sent me right back to 2015. Surely an intentional thing. A nice mix of action, contemporary dystopia, and stormy foreshadowing. Karen and BB's conversation all but etched the latter's headstone, and the appearance of Swordsman, a future rescued ally. As for the etched blade, Frank or Bullseye? Off to Invincible. I see what you mean by a tight schedule. The best of all problems. 5 capped captains, unscrupulous shaggies, and cherry-popped hearts out of 5. Peace and take care. Coffee and Vodka."
Absolutely, the old cherry-popped heart.
Like that. Very good.
Really glad you're enjoying it, Coffee and Vodka. For me, definitely the etched blade was Bullseye. It had his little symbol on.
Yes.
Between "You're welcome."
Yeah.
So definitely Bullseye.
And Frank's very good with his bullets, but not very good with bouncing things off walls to land them perfectly right in front of Matt Murdock. That is Bullseye's signature move right there.
Absolutely. And I mean, same as yourself with Karen and BB's conversation, that yes, you can see the old chiseler working away on the headstone already.
Can you imagine if what happens at the end of the series is Karen's holding BB's dead body in her arms going, "Oh no, I've killed another member of their family by my unfortunate investigations."
Yes, exactly. But she's been warned. She's been warned now, so she's fully aware of that. And in terms of Jacques Duquesne, I'm really interested to see how this character plays out, actually, because he was one of those characters that was really intriguing from Kate Bishop's run and Hawkeye's run there. So I really, really enjoyed that whole aspect to Jacques Duquesne. So it's good to see him in this.
Yeah, like it was such a great little almost Easter egg or cameo last season, him arriving at the party, and now here he is in the second season of the show, forming a good portion of the story, let's say, and we'll see more of him in episode 2 and 3. And yeah, like your call out there, that this felt like the battle between Didi and the goons in the containers reminded you of 2015.
Definitely.
I am sure I said exactly the same thing that I said on episode 1 of this podcast, that I said last week, that it reminded me of Batman 1989, and also of Batman Begins, where they have the swear to me moment with Christian Bale. So I'm sure all of those reminiscent of each other. But yes, you're absolutely right. Reminiscent of 2015. Wow, 10 years, John, 11 years since Daredevil, the first season on Netflix. How cool is that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, great stuff. Thanks, Coffee and Vodka, for your thoughts on the first episode. Hopefully we'll hear from you for the rest of the episodes as we go through the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Coffee and Vodka. Up next is Russell Hooper, who says, "Let me start by thanking you fine gentlemen for doing this episode. For if you hadn't, I wouldn't have known Daredevil Born Again Season 2 was out." Excellent, Russell.
Brilliant.
Really glad we were able to connect you in with Season 2 of Daredevil Born Again.
If you
Good
unsubscribe
stuff.
to all marketing, stay subscribed to TV Podcast Industries. We'll let you know when the good things happen.
We are a public sector broadcaster.
Absolutely.
Providing good service. Excellent stuff. Russell continues, "Great episode. It had a Batman Dark Knight gritty feel to it. Man, would that be a great crossover? Heath Ledger's Joker in this New York. Move over Kingpin. You've got a much worse Joker to deal with. Seriously, the tone of this episode was great. I thought we were going to lose Cherry. Then when the silent shots took out the task force, I immediately thought of the Punisher. Explain to me this, please. I thought Bullseye is a bad guy, or does he walk in that grey area also? Matt and Karen together? It's about time. It better last, like, forever. Did you say Mr. Charles is connected to the Avengers? No, Scooby-Doo, I think you'll find, Russell Hooper. It is the one and only Shaggy.
Yes, Matthew Lillard, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, what we said was he's connected to the new Avengers, which is the team led by Contessa de Fontaine.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The old Contessa.
From Thunderbolts. So if you haven't seen Thunderbolts, I don't think it's a massive spoiler by now. It's been a year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Russell follows on. By the way, Langley is where the CIA headquarters is, not the FBI. Thank you so much, Russell, for that. Yeah, I just couldn't quite remember, but as soon as you say it, is Quantico FBI? I think
it is. That must be it. Yeah.
But yes, excellent. Thanks for that clarification.
You think after all that time watching Silence of the Lambs, you'd go all the way to
but just
CIA.
in general, like Langley is in so much, but I just like had a brain fart. Anyway, all clarified now.
Yep.
The fog of fart has gone from the brain.
There you go.
Russell continues, I know it's early on in the season, and I don't know how much of season 2 you have seen, but do you think the events of this show could affect the events in the upcoming Spider-Man movie or the new Avengers movie? It's great to hear you guys again. It's been a while since you covered a show I watch. Just not enough hours in a day to watch everything I'd like to. Keep defending. Russell Hooper, USA. Thanks so much, Russell. Well, yes, we certainly see that the events of this are going to be connected, or at least characters are connected in with the Spider-Man movie. How much? Don't know.
Yeah.
But certainly looks like it's going to be a Daredevil into the Punisher movie, into the Spider-Man movie. And certainly, as far as we know, old Sheila, the long-suffering head of Fisk's office, will certainly be in the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, now we don't know timelines, of course. It's absolutely possible that Spider-Man Brand New Day takes place before this season of Daredevil Born Again, so Sheila is pre Wilson Fisk, so no spoilers from that. We don't know for definite. Punisher, of course, is also in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and again, we don't know whether that takes place after Punisher One Last Kill, which is the name of the Punisher movie coming out on May 12th now. So we don't know much about that. Not going to speculate too much because I think that ruins the movie as well. So don't want to talk about that too much. You did have one question for us to ask the question. Explain to me whether Bullseye is a bad guy or does he walk in the grey area? No, Bullseye's a bad guy in general, but as with every character on these shows, they try to put you in his perspective as to why he's doing the things he's doing, and I think we get a little bit more of that in episode 2 and 3 as well, which we'll talk about. But no, he is definitely a bad guy.
Yes. I think at the moment it's more, he probably feels more betrayed by the Fisks with what's happened, as opposed to Daredevil.
Exactly. That's the speculation that we have right now. But yes, you're entirely right to be questioning whether he's a good guy or bad guy, what side he's on, whether the vigilantes are all going to gang up together against Kingpin. That's going to be part of the story that will be covered this season with the character, I guess. So we're looking forward to hearing more about that.
Yes, absolutely. Great stuff. Thanks, Russell.
Thanks, Russell. Over on Discord, you can join our Discord, the link in the show notes for this episode, of course. Dr. Bob sent his message over there. He says, violent retribution, absence of any due process, and exquisite tailoring. Fisk is going to have to work hard to catch up with the exploits of Daredevil and his pals from this episode. He also asked if John had a trip back to see his family recently. Lovely extra lilt of Merseyside of the Intertwined D's episode 1. Good luck managing the trio of shows. Cheers, Dr. Bob.
Excellent. No, not since Christmas. So I guess it's just my inherent little soupçon of Scouse.
I think it must have come out when you were saying Daredevil.
Daredevil. Oh no.
Maybe that's it.
Oh no, it's Daredevil.
Exactly. But yes, there's some really, really cool stuff going on here. Glad you're enjoying it, Dr. Bob.
Yeah, great stuff. Thanks, Dr. Bob.
Fantastic. Do we have some Facebook feedback as well, John? Do you want to share the Facebook stuff?
Absolutely. Harvey Locust says, do you think Bullseye carved "You're welcome" into the knife weeks before and has just been carrying it around, waiting for the right moment? Also, I really hope it's Angela Del Toro behind the Kingpin mask. I think "You're welcome" probably is generally enough that it would work for anyone. I would say.
Maybe, yeah. I feel like he doesn't leave that as a calling card very often. He's usually someone that shoots people in the head.
Yeah.
I think he might have been looking for an opportunity to save Matt Murdock.
Yeah, he's clearly lurking.
He is.
He's kind of like, long-time listener, first-time caller.
That must be it, yeah.
But it's more lurking with old Bullseye.
I just love the idea that for 6 months he's been carrying this knife in his pocket going, you're welcome, hoping that he's going to have an opportunity to throw it at Matt. Towards Matt. Sorry, not at Matt. Towards Matt.
I guess he still remembers that he got chucked off a building by Daredevil.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's really annoyed at the Fisks, to my earlier comment as well.
Exactly.
Really, really annoyed.
Good speculation from Harvey on who could possibly be behind the Kingpin mask. We'll find that out in the next couple of episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Finally, on episode 1, Mathematician says, MCU is back. As much as I love TBPI analysing any of the show's movies that I enjoy, you're definitely at your best in the MCU, and more specifically, the world of the Defenders. Matthew Lillard, what a joy. When other actors become a bit hammy, it looks forced and tacky. Lillard goes for the wacky effect, and it comes across as natural. Great actor. Working for Val means he can walk into any room and know that he calls the shots. White House levels of propaganda from Fisk to put enough fear into the NY residents to allow him to do things he couldn't normally in order to, air quotes, keep everybody safe. Only palatable as BB is helping Karen. Muse showing up here and there as a form of Heather's PTSD while she's interviewing Jack, showing she isn't all in yet, and I reckon she'll be part of Fisk's ultimate downfall. Ooh, like that. BB needs to stay away from young Gandolfini's deputy mayor. He will get her killed. She believes he's not bad, just ambitious. We'll see. Desperate to see Matt give Powell a good beating before the end of the series after seeing his team torture Cherry and bringing on a heart attack. Was the dagger a warning to Matt or an olive branch because Matt spared Dex's life? I recently rewatched Hawkeye with my lad and had forgotten Jack was in season 1. So great to see his return. Any chance we'll get Kate Bishop as part of this season? Set up nicely for the series. Can't wait for episode 2. I loved your analysis. Great discussion, boys. Even if I missed Chris's input for this one, life is so much better when there's a new MCU content available.
Thanks so much, Mathematician. Really good to get your feedback there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on Daniel. He's kind of like becoming ever more kind of problematic for me. I guess we'll get into it a bit more with the next couple of episodes, but certainly I like the kind of danger, the affable danger that he brings.
Yes.
You know, as you say,
Yeah.
Doesn't come across as a threat, but we will see indeed. And I do think it makes for a really nice, tense relationship between himself and BB.
Yeah,
Ulrich, I think.
It does feel like he's going to get out of a few scrapes by the skin of his teeth, but the people that are left behind may bear the brunt of what he's done.
Yeah, I mean, I also fear for Sheila with him around.
Absolutely.
As well, so.
Absolutely. Yeah. But we'll see as the season goes on. Thanks so much for your thoughts on that, Mathematician.
Yeah, great thoughts. Thanks, Mathematician.
And with that, that's the end of the feedback on episode 1. Please keep sending in your feedback to us, to all the details there. You can join us over in our Facebook group as well at facebook.com/groups/TV Podcast Industries. There's a spoiler post up there and on Discord for each of the episodes of each of the shows that we're covering as well. So we'd love to hear from you as the season goes on. But we are jumping into season 2, episode 2. We are recording in advance again for this one, so we will share your thoughts on episode 2 and episode 3 on next week's episode. But for this episode, we are just discussing episode 2, even if you watched ahead, because 2 episodes came out this week, John.
I know. It's just the most random thing. It's kind of like someone forgot how to count.
But we were speculating about last week that there was going to be episode 1 and episode 2 were going to come out in the same day, and then the day after we recorded, they said, no, it's going to be episode 2 and 3 next week.
And then episode 4 will come out on its own,
Yeah.
then 5, 6, and 7 will come out, and I mean, who knows? It's
No, we've got the list now. Definitely, it's 1 a week every week after this week, so episode 4 next week is going to be out on its own, and the reason for it is because of the Punisher special coming out on May 12th. So they decided that date and then said, we've got to finish Daredevil. It seems like we've got to finish Daredevil in time, so they bundle them together. But I do want to say, we missed this and we forgot this. Last season they did something really weird in Born Again as well. They did episode 4 and episode 5 were put out together in the same week. Remember the bank job episode, which was the standalone one, which was about 25 minutes long or something, that was put out in the same week as another episode. So they have done weird stuff before with Born Again specifically.
It feels like there's some kind of streaming platform tombola that they just sort of dip their hand into, and it's like the runes that say, and this time the algorithm says 3 episodes to open up the new season, or is it 2?
Or is it 2? Is it 1? What way are you going to do it?
Anyway, yes. Strap on in, fellow defenders, for the ride that is when will these episodes drop.
Exactly.
I mean, for us, I guess it's not so bad, but yes, it just adds to the weekly workflow.
It does. I suppose the cool thing is, if you are in a country that celebrates Easter, you get 2 days off to celebrate the Easter weekend, and they've got 2 episodes out for you from Daredevil. Considering the character's Catholic, that makes sense, right?
Absolutely.
2 episodes around Easter, since all the Catholics will be off work.
Maybe Foggy Nelson will rise like one of the other well-known defenders of the planet.
I don't think we're going to call him that. But just to make it even more complicated as to why they put the second episode on this week rather than attached to the first one, the directors of this episode are Jason Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who directed episode 1, and the writer of the episode is Dario Scardapane, who is the showrunner and writer of episode 1 as well. Excellent. So I suspect they thought both of these episodes were going to be back-to-back on the first week, but that's fine. They weren't. We're chatting about episode 2 now. John, do you want to give us the synopsis for season 2, episode 2, Shoot the Moon?
Sure. Cherry is taken to hospital following the attack by Wilson Fisk's anti-vigilante task force. Daredevil watches on, wondering why Bullseye intervened and what his message could have meant. Meanwhile, Benjamin Poindexter visits Matt's old church looking for Matt's mother, Sister Maggie. But unable to find her, he looks for absolution instead. Fisk continues to train for his upcoming boxing match, but when Buck Cashman relays the news of the dead AVTF agents and Poindexter's help, Fisk violently takes his frustration out on his trainer, as we've all thought we should do.
What's wrong with you? This isn't like you.
As tensions on the street escalate, a simple misunderstanding leads to Angela Del Toro's Aunt Soledad's arrest. Angela goes to Kirsten McDuffie to find help, but instead finds her Uncle Hector's white tiger costume. Matt and Karen want to prove that Fisk was smuggling guns and need to find the first mate from the ship that was sunk in the East River. But before they can reach their contact, Fisk comes up with a plan to locate his enemy. He sends the city out looking for Matt Murdock, the hero who saved him. As they see Fisk's minions remove the weapons from the wreckage, Matt resolves to go to Red Hook himself before their chance is lost. With a warning from Fisk, Daniel is concerned that BB might be using him to get access to secure files. He confronts her and warns her to stop, or she won't be safe. But BB doubles down and puts out another underground video of Mayor Fisk. When 2 more of the AVTF are killed by Poindexter, more agents are sent to the hospital to try and finish the job on Cherry. But he outsmarts them and goes into hiding. They finally catch up with Matt and Karen at Josie's, while Daredevil fights his way out and regroups with Karen at Frank Castle's old hideout. She takes matters into her own hands, kidnapping one of the members of the task force.
Ooh, lots going on in this episode, isn't there?
Yeah, loads. Really good. I mean, I did like the fact that those interlocking Ds, or double Ds, if you will, do really look like the V for Vendetta style.
Oh, yeah.
Which, you know,
as they spray paint them on the wall.
Yeah, in the opening, just that literal opening where they're spraying the red interlocking Ds. Because, I mean, V for Vendetta talks of similar themes as this season of Daredevil does. So, it's a really nice touch, which whilst probably isn't connected to V for Vendetta, it certainly feels like it, and I'd certainly recommend that you read that comic by Alan Moore, or indeed watch the movie, which I have a soft spot for.
Oh, definitely. It's been re-released this year.
I know.
Just in time for
for Uprising. Yes.
Absolutely. I also think that it does have that image of V, the TV series from the 80s, the Alien Invasion series as well. There's little moments of that. A lot of that in these episodes where we have the resistance being created as well. So quite cool to have that. Also, I have to call out before we get into any points at all, I love that moment where we see Daredevil watching on as the police lights are flashing off his costume, this new black costume that he has, or his costume painted black, and the DD symbols, just the way that they are picked up by the police sirens or police lights.
This is whilst he's watching Cherry getting taken off to hospital. Yeah, no, it's absolutely. So cool. Really good stuff. I mean, I love the mood lighting that they're doing with Poindexter as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Really, really top stuff.
Well, let's get into it, John. Order! Time for the defense to present their evidence. Please be seated. I think it's time to get into our case notes. So case note number 1, is Poindexter here to help, John?
Do you know... I hope so. I really hope so. I'm kind of feeling a little motherly or fatherly, whatever, about old Poindexter, because I'm kind of like, come on, you can, it's kind of almost like Vader. It's like, you can come into the light, you can come to the good side of the Force. But he looks a little threatening to the old priest who wasn't a priest.
Absolutely.
And I do wonder if we're going to get some kind of something on a TV screen in the news or a newspaper headline or something around a murdered priest somewhere.
Oh gosh, I hope not. Like the actual scene itself where Poindexter is going to the church, interestingly, he calls back again to the Netflix version of the story where Sister Maggie was in the church there. Daredevil's mother in the comics. So interesting that it's referenced specifically here. So if you've just watched season 3 of Daredevil on Netflix and you're back watching Born Again now, you go, oh, there's an interesting connection. She's off on a year's sabbatical in Rome, but Poindexter stays and says he's looking for absolution for betraying himself and others. So if he's looking for absolution, hopefully that doesn't involve torturing the local priest.
Yes, I hope not, but just he looked quite menacing and he was kind of playing around with his blade.
He was, yeah.
I kind of felt that was all fairly threatening.
And we had the lighting switch, as you said, as well.
Yes, exactly, which was kind of like, okay, he's just going crazy and has taken him out, along with maybe 2 random nuns as well. Who knows? But yeah,
Sister Maggie, is he trying to find someone to torture so that he can torture Matt in some way? Maybe it's
but
something like that.
I think that's the thing. I think he's playing a different game here, for sure. Yes. But for me, I mean, I love Poindexter. Absolutely, really enjoy this character, and ever since Daredevil on Netflix, I thought Wilson Bethel has done a great job playing Bullseye and Poindexter here.
Definitely,
and really glad that he's back, and I'm really enjoying the fact that, as I was saying from the feedback, it's just like this, it's this lurking. We're not really seeing an awful lot of him, but there's just this overriding sense at various times that he's just watching and waiting, whether it's in saving Matt from the AVTF guards, or whether, as we see in this episode, where he's kind of watching Vanessa and Heather Glenn have their conversation through a scope. So it's just, I like it. It feel a lot of the relationships here in this season of Daredevil have got some really good tension about them, and in a sense, almost off kilter. This one is because he's not really seen. That's the threat.
Yeah.
You don't really know where he is. It's almost like he's camouflaged within the city. And I think it's to the point of Daniel as well. You know, Daniel's camouflaged by his affableness, but I think beneath that there's probably a bit of a nightmare to come out.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, so it's all those kind of things, and I really enjoy how that builds sort of intrigue about what they're going to do or the tension. So for me, from a motherly point of view, I hope Poindexter is going to move to the light and become a good old kid.
Maybe the reason why he was watching on Vanessa and Heather was because he wanted to talk to Heather about getting into therapy.
Maybe.
And that could solve Heather's challenge and his challenge at the same time.
Possibly.
Some therapy for another vigilante, maybe, something like
I think
that.
a phone call may have worked better than
staring at
looking
them
through a
scope. But again, because of the way the show's gone so far, and Heather Glenn having those moments of seeing Muse appear in the background, I was going, well, is this something that Vanessa's just seeing in the background? And then they delivered the scene of Vanessa's dream, where she's walking through Central Park. I think we've seen that that location before. I think it was in Jessica Jones or Iron Fist.
It's been
a very famous location in New York. But we see her carrying a gun, and then the gun flips over to Poindexter, and then she says, "I know why you're hunting me," which is really interesting. She's the one that made Bullseye sign the contract to kill Foggy Nelson. She's the one that got him out of prison because of that, and now she's waking up from this dream and making her question everything. She's questioning whether they should up and leave New York because she's so scared of what he's going to do to her when he finds her.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I have to say, I really loved the seal's kiss from a rose on a grave.
That was so cool. So we see the blue rose beside the bed as she goes into her dream, and then when she wakes up from her dream, it's the red rose of Kingpin beside her. So cool to see that changeover. And again, that was something they added, the directors added to the end of season 1 when we saw all the colorization they started to do.
I immediately had Seal going through my head.
Well, that's Batman and Robin,
Seal.
not that Seal. That's from Batman Returns. No, Batman Forever.
Yeah, it's the awful one, I think.
But the best soundtrack.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Oh no, I like the first one as well. It's got Prince in it.
Well, that's 1989, and of course that's the best Batman soundtrack of all time because it's Prince, obviously, and he knocked that out in about 3 days, apparently. So yeah, there you go.
Look at him boasting about his musical talents.
He did 5 albums in 1 year. That's
true.
That's how talented he was.
Yeah.
We miss Prince, R.I.P. But one more thing to mention on the Poindexter point, on the point of Bullseye. Matt and Karen also have a discussion about why Poindexter did this.
Yes.
Why he saved Matt and why he saved Matt and Cherry, I suppose. I just thought it was really interesting speculation from the two of them. Matt potentially thinks, well, every single member of the AVTF that's killed is pinned on him, and it will also piss off Wilson Fisk to see more and more of his agents being killed. So, 2 birds, 1 stone, as Karen says. So is he not here to help? Is he actually just trying to piss off Fisk and make Matt's life even worse?
Exactly. It's just, for him, it's a win-win situation. For both Fisk and for Matt Murdock, it is a lose-lose. And I think the interesting thing is because, Fisk and Murdock are reflections of one another around, their love for the city,
Absolutely.
but in different ways.
Yeah.
In a sense, I guess Bullseye just rolls his eyes and like, right, I'm just going to make life a
hell for both of you.
Hell for both of you.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
And I also do like then that he takes out more AVTF agents in the hospital. Certainly, given how much back chat they were giving to old Cherry and his old colleagues.
He took them out zombie style with knife through the head.
Absolutely, and he is one person who doesn't need to double tap either. But I like the color palette changing in the lift.
Yeah.
I think as well, I kind of did like that scene in the hospital with Cherry and his old colleagues. It just felt that. It really felt old school.
Yeah.
Them all the retired mates from the precincts that they all work together, even ones who are still working, but, and are in a sense, not in the AVTF, like some of the uniformed cops that were there. And I like how they get the better of the AVTF, and in particular, Powell. But
it's another form of resistance, that. That's what I love about it. We have the guards outside the door, and they're told to move along by ABTF, who are going to walk into the room and kill Cherry, but lots of them in there. And I love that the last thing they say to them is, so we'll still be here. Are you going to bring the pizza, or are we getting ourselves as usual? Love it. Really, really good. I think that's it for Poindexter's first point.
Absolutely. Let's get on to our case note number 2.
Yes, point number 2, case note number 2 is Matt the hero. Oh, what an interesting choice here from Fisk. There's a great moment where we have Buck Cashman revealing, I suppose, that he also knows the secret identity of Daredevil, that Matt Murdock is Daredevil. And he's going to him, why wouldn't you just release his secret identity into the world? Why wouldn't you tell everybody in New York that Matt Murdock, this lawyer, is Daredevil, is the vigilante you've been looking for? And Fisk, just showing that he is, again, the smartest guy in the room, goes, but hang on a second, that's a really bad sell. This poor lawyer from New York who's blind, it's really tough to sell that, but I can sell Daredevil. I can sell that this devil from Hell's Kitchen is a bad guy. Oh, but I've got a great idea. What about if I reveal to the world that the hero that saved me is missing, and maybe it's Daredevil's fault? And then suddenly he has both sides of his supporters, one side trying to find the hero and the other side trying to take out the Daredevil. Really, really cool idea. I love that it goes all the way around to the discussion with Powell, when Powell comes in later on in the episode, where he goes, I will bring Matt Murdock into this office here, and I will deliver Daredevil's head in a spike. And comedy Wilson Fisk goes, either of those will be sufficient, knowing that both of those couldn't be possible because it's the same person. So I love that Wilson Fisk has got the comedy button right there.
Oh, absolutely. No, I really like this moment from Buck, and I love how Fisk turns it on its head so that actually everyone in New York, including the AVTF, are looking for Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
And so that just makes his job even harder, because both of his identities are being searched for. So he's, the space that he can operate in is squeezed effectively, and way harder for him. So that was really good. And I do like how they're showing Fisk really sort of jump on how to spin things his way, whether it's the Northern Star or indeed in this moment here as well. So really, really good.
Absolutely, because the plan that Karen and Matt had come up with was they were going to go up to the Greek Cypriot restaurant in Astoria, one of the villages in New York, it's probably a city in New York, sorry. I would say village, but they're going to go up and meet Ariane in the Greek restaurant and try and find out where the first mate from the Northern Star is gone. And they can't do that now because the whole city is looking for Matt. So Matt has to flip and change to a new plan. And the new plan is they're going to have to find a way into Red Hook. This whole plan from the first episode was that if they were able to pin the shipment of these illegal weapons on Wilson Fisk, then he would be kicked out of his seat as mayor. But if they get the weapons to Red Hook without Matt finding them, they could be gone forever. They will be moved, they will be split apart, and their lead is gone forever. So Daredevil now has to find a way into Red Hook, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I love that.
So, I mean, and I think this is forced Daredevil's hand, really. They've got to kind of bring it forward around Red Hook. And I like the fact that you have both Matt and Karen scoping out the port, as kind of saying, well, what happens when no one's watching? As it's like a box or a crate of nappies is dropped for effect.
Diapers for Americans, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And at nighttime you have effectively the guns being moved. So I liked how this, has forced Matt's hand to sort of really have to get into Red Hook now. Yeah,
absolutely. Anything else on Matt the hero, John?
No, he's always been a hero to me.
He is the hero.
Yes, exactly.
Of Hell's Kitchen, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Order in the court.
It is case note number 3. We have Angela's aunt Soledad being arrested.
Oh, really good scene here.
This was superb. Yeah. And I mean, dare I say it, not to really want to bring politics into the podcast. But just given what we've seen sort of since at least the new year, or even before that, around what was going on in Minnesota. You know, this felt really like that. In terms of, you have Angela here, who was the niece to Hector, and to Soledad. So effectively the niece of the White Tiger previously from season 1. And you just have them going shopping in a sort of local bodega. She's trying to prevent some lads shoplifting. Yeah. That's all. The shopkeeper pulls a gun. The one of the member of the task force comes in, kind of knocks out the shopkeeper, and is about to break the arm of what the kid who had actually done the shoplifting.
Yeah, he's going
going to do that, and she just puts her hand on him to stop him, and he's like, he effectively, in essence, cries wolf. But it says
that's assaulting a police officer.
Yep. And you're just there going, it's so horrific seeing that, the maliciousness behind that small, seemingly innocuous act from a police officer. Absolutely awful. And like, given that you just know worse things have happened than just simply then being arrested, but she's taken away, and you have then that local community all chanting at the members of the AVTF, you know, get out of our neighborhood, just repeatedly. And this was the most, I feel as though this has hit amongst other things, but this is really on the nose, replicating what was on our news screens just a few weeks and months earlier.
I know, and the sad part about it is they're not referencing what happened in Minnesota because this was filmed last summer. They're referencing things that have happened repeatedly over and over again as terrorist regimes rise up and consider themselves in control of the country. You know, it's not specific to Minnesota. There's a great quote from Brad Winderbaum when asked about this. He was asked about why is the AVTF mirroring ICE and what happened in Minnesota, and he said it's not. Stanley always said Marvel Comics and Marvel stories should replicate what's going on outside your window, and if it does intersect what's going on in real life, then it's coincidental. It's not. It's sad that it's happening again. If we're telling you that this thing shouldn't be happening, and we're telling stories about horrible things happening in the city, and they're happening again, well, you know, take your lessons from history. And then Matthew Lillard, who was in the same interview, said, and I hope it's a wake-up call to people to go, the things that you may not be paying attention to in your life in America can lead to this type of thing happening again for all of us. So yeah, love it. This is exactly what we should be seeing in this city. I love this building tension, you know,
absolutely.
The very simple moment that could happen in any bodega, in any local corner shop, where a local resident sees someone that she kind of knows. She knows the kids. Angela knows the kids. They know her name, you know, and all she's doing is saying, look, put the bottle back, because if you steal the bottle, the shop owner increases prices for everybody, and we're in a lower income neighborhood. We can't do that, and you'll just be a drunk kid out in the street. You know, let's just stop all that. You put it back, and we're all sorted. Could have been taken care of by the local community, but this AVTF officer comes in and escalates the situation beyond all rational thought, taking away both the shopkeeper and Soledad and sticking them up in Red Hook. Together,
absolutely.
You know?
And I like how this kind of then, in a sense, you've always sensed that Angela has been one that has looked at her uncle Hector previously and had an element of, you know, pride, I guess, in what he was doing, what his principles were. Yeah. And so you have this moment where she's kind of she's forced into going to Kristen McDuffie's law practice to go and talk to her. But then you get the sense when she sees the White Tiger costume and the medallion that there are other things start to fire in her mind about what she needs to do. I
kind of wish this was in the Black Panther universe, because then we get that little little drum beat, as if the White Tiger medallion is calling out to her. Why would she go there? Her uncle and aunt, her uncle's dead, her aunt's been taken by the ABTF. Why would she go to the lawyers? You'd love the idea that, in the comic books, it's that the medallion is calling out to her saying, come down here and start the resistance, something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, this is a grounded show, so they don't show that, but I think that I'm interpreting that's what happened, that she was called there by the White Tiger medallion.
Yeah, I think so. Equally, because it was Kirsten that was trying to get justice for Hector.
Absolutely, yeah.
Along with Matt Murdock. So that's her only hope now, because she's just lost her auntie, having been sort of taken away to an unknown location for her.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody can find her, basically. I think that's it on that moment. Let's move on to our case note number 4. Ooh, BB, the spy.
Yeah.
I was trying to make this sound like Harriet the spy, but BB the spy doesn't really work the same way.
No, maybe not. But I do like this whole kind of sub-story between BB and Daniel.
Yeah.
I think in particular, you have leaked footage of the Northern Star sinking, being used by BB ultimately in her counter propaganda that she's doing anonymously behind the mask. But
because we get it revealed in this episode that that she is Mayor Fisk behind the mask.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh. And I love the fact that it could only have come from inside the mayor's office. I love that Sheila is basically saying to Daniel, you need to sort this out. How have they got hold of this footage? You didn't have it on your laptop, did you? And he's like, no. As soon as she leaves, he's deleting it off his laptop.
It's like, oh shit, I should have
it. Who's the leak? Is it inside or outside of the office? He's then debating whether he should or shouldn't show it to Fisk. And in the end, it doesn't matter, because Fisk has seen it and calls Daniel into into his office. And this is just a really...
I know you wanted to say Oval Office there, but that's not what it's called.
No, it's not. It's not. And it's a really powerful moment here. Not only do we see the former police commissioner's file, and you have this whole anecdote around, car accidents, or not normally occur after it's wet, because there's stuff on the road that you lose your grip and you don't expect it. And so suddenly everything's taken out from under you. And he equates this to the things that damage us are the things that we are least prepared for, essentially. And again, shows Daniel the footage on YouTube because he has already seen it. And I do like the fact that he's basically, Fisk does absolutely threaten him. He says, do you remember what I said? If you ever betray me, it's your responsibility. You're the deputy mayor of communications. And, he gives him the card from the police commissioner that was given to him by BB Ulrich, and is basically... it's called with City Without Fear tag on it. And it's
just for non-comic fans, just a reminder, Daredevil's character is called Daredevil, the Man Without Fear. So City Without Fear being the resistance movement tagline is really cool for the show. Just thought that was a cool Easter egg.
And it's like, basically, bring me who did this. And I like the two questions he asks. The first one is, do you have any idea where the leak came from? He says no. Is there anyone in this building that you feel the need to protect? And he says yes, you. And it's like, good answer. That's class response from Daniel. I don't think you would say anything else. But
it's perfect Daniel, though.
It is perfect Daniel. And that's the thing. He is good.
He is. He's smart. He's better than you expect him to be. He's not some kind of idiot. He knows how to play the room. But he's just digging himself really deep, and sometime in the future might not be able to get himself out of the hole that he's digging for himself, I think.
Oh, no, agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. But it does lead to BB coming over for dinner to Daniel's place. I really like this confrontation from him because it shows the vulnerability of Daniel as well.
Yeah.
He's not a bad guy here. He's not a villain that thinks he's doing the bad thing. He actually believes in everything that Fisk is doing.
Yeah.
And he's saying to BB, everything's going well. Look what position we're both in. Look at the money that's rolling in for us. Look at the kind of surroundings that I'm in. He's sitting down having a meal that he's cooked himself for her. And politely saying to her, if you are leaking anything from my office, stop or we both die. And all the good times stop rolling. Even if we don't die, everything's going smooth. Don't rock the boat, because things are going to go much worse than you think they are.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. And I like this because he says that, in counter to that, BB is like, you're afraid of him.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard or thought, what if the rumors are true? And she does ultimately, like, she doesn't confirm that she was the leak, but she's basically saying, why is this so bad for you? And I mean, ultimately, the other thing he says is that integrity costs. So he is selling out. The whole apartment that he has, again, BB has already said you need to be careful that there's no conflict of interest here. He's like, no, it's all above board. It's half price, but it's in a trust, all this kind of thing. Everything's fine because there's several steps removed from him being a mayor. Yeah. Or the mayor, I should say. And so I kind of like the fact here that we see, in a sense, Daniel trying to pressure BB in the way that he was just pressured by Fisk in his office.
Yeah,
and the other
polite and concerned, and
exactly,
it is his friend. He knows he wouldn't be in the position he's in if it wasn't for BB. And what a beautiful directing decision or writing decision to have him say integrity has a price, as Fisk is using the same fear technique on Sheila.
Absolutely.
Back in the mayor's office.
Just about to say.
Yeah, he's literally using the same file on the desk, showing Sheila that the person that she turned into Fisk is now dead, died in a car crash, air quotes, but he is showing her that he's got the file on his desk. He's showing her, people know that it's a car crash that could be you in a file next week if you cross me, basically. But we hear no words on their side. We hear them from Daniel in the voiceover with him saying no threat from Fisk in that side. Sorry, he does say, do you want to come home?
But it's a very, very tense moment because it's nighttime. The office is really very low lit. She's effectively dropping something off on his desk, sees the Gallo file, is looking through it, and then he's there in the background with his white jacket on. So it's very obvious, but very tense. Yeah. But he's like, you did the right thing, Sheila. Can I walk you out? And she accepts it. So
integrity is a price. Yeah.
Yeah. Just really, really great kind of set of scenes here between Daniel, Fisk, BB and Sheila. Yeah, really good.
Love it. This is why you watch TV shows, isn't it? All the extra characters and all the impacts on them from your main characters. This could just easily be Daredevil versus Kingpin in a boxing ring for an episode or for a movie. But all of these extra characters are fantastic. Really, really loving how they're all playing together. Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Shall we get on to case note number 5?
Order in the court. Yes, our final moment is the fight at Josie's bar, the arrival of the AVTF to Josie's bar. What a great little moment where we have Josie having a drink with Matt and Karen at the now closed down bar in Josie's, which has been their hideaway for the last while. There's a knock at the door. Matt senses that something's outside. The two of them run away. Josie goes to answer the door. It turns out it's the cops that have been taking care of Cherry. Just to confirm, they have moved him from the hospital, which we saw in the episode, but they've moved him to hospital. He's in a secure location, just in case anybody might be interested in that information, is the way that the police officer says to Josie. But that's not the last of it. The AVTF turn up pretty soon afterwards. We have Matt and Karen in bed, chatting away.
Talking about the resistance.
Yeah. Karen's got some of Matt's records, so they start listening to some music. It really feels like the resistance in World War II, doesn't it? It feels like something that would be in a serious version of Hello, Hello. I know that show comes up very often on this podcast. I just can't think of a show like that at the top of my head. Maybe Handmaid's Tale or
I was thinking of like Les Miserables in some respects.
Yeah, I was thinking the Man in the High Castle, maybe something like that.
But it's exactly the Man in the High Castle. It's definitely they're talking about the resistance. I do like the fact as well that again, it's a nice little contrast and intercutting of Fisk and Vanessa in bed just after she's had the bad dream, and she's kind of going, do you think we can live outside of this? Says Fisk to her question, and she's like, yes, I do, says Vanessa, that we can live outside of this. Whereas Karen and Matt are talking about the resistance and all of a sudden are living it, what they're trying to get away from, or what Vanessa wants to do to get away from, which is suddenly the AVTF are surrounding Josie's bar.
Yeah, and isn't it funny that Karen's asking the same question to Matt, can we live anywhere else, like somewhere like Brooklyn, maybe, it's bad living there. And Wilson Fisk on the other side having the conversation, Vanessa saying, well, I still own that island, we could go to the island, and Wilson Fisk proving how evil he is, just like Anakin Skywalker says, I don't like the feeling of sand between my toes.
Yeah, exactly.
So just as villainous as the Sith who became Darth Vader. But anyway, I'd love to know, and sorry we didn't catch this, one of our wonderful fellow defenders will probably tell us what the song was that Karen was playing on the record player. I'm sure that's also a callback to either Daredevil Born Again season 1 or back to Daredevil seasons 1 to 3, because Matt gets a smile on his face of recognition that I just didn't have when I heard it. I was like, what is that song?
No, exactly. I mean,
must be something.
The other thing outside of all of that, though, as well, is just like the AVTF have got good intel. I'm like, are they being trailed here? Is there someone in the midst who's effectively betraying them or keeping tabs on them, because they do know where to go. You have Karen escaping, but Josie gets arrested by the AVTF until Daredevil saves her in a kind of a nice but violent way, and tells her to kind of get out of here and keep on running and don't look back, kind of thing. But
there's very much that feeling of the Gestapo knocking on the doors of everybody connected with Matt Murdock. It could easily be the fact that the police officers went down there to tell them that Cherry was safe. Maybe they're investigating locations where they were. Or maybe one of Cherry's group is already a turncoat. That's possible as well. Because again, AVTF are all former police officers. Well,
that's it. There's the Asian detective there says they're out hunting.
Yeah.
So absolutely could have followed them for sure. Yeah.
But we have our battle sequence in this episode, and Karen gets a few good licks in as well with an old metal pipe.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
At least that's what I heard. Anyway, takes out the AVTF agent that's down the alleyway where she's trying to escape. They've mentioned before back in episode 1 about these effectively drop back spots that they will go to if they don't see each other. And we have Matt sitting at one of them waiting for the arrival of Karen. Looks like she's a little bit late. I
like the Fisk U graffiti.
Fantastic.
Really good.
Yeah, fantastic. They put out some posters for the characters for this season. My second Jessica Jones mention, because her poster has Fisk U on it for this season. So yeah, that does sound like Jessica Jones doing all the spray painting across the city. But this seems to be quite close to another location that we've seen back in season 1 of Daredevil Born Again. They're very close to where Frank Castle was hiding out. So that's their new drop spot. We had Josie's Bar for the first episode and a half, and now we look like we're going to Frank Castle's location.
Moving around.
Yeah, but there's someone in there, a little present.
Little uninvited guest, at least for Daredevil. Yes, because Karen has taken one of the AVTF as hostage. And the episode closes with her saying, they're hunting us. Maybe it's time we start hunting them.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Love it.
Really
well done,
good.
Karen.
Yeah. I like that little complication being thrown in for Daredevil. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great stuff. I think that's it for our major case notes from the episode overall. We do have a little whiskey watch, but it's getting terrible now because they can't use branded stuff anymore, John. Our whiskey watch is that Powell and Fisk share whiskey from the decanter in his office.
Yeah.
And also we see Josie, Karen and Matt all sharing whiskey from behind the counter in Josie's bar. Still keeping the whiskey up to date, even though... nobody else can get it and see it. I think she might have a problem. But it looks like a bottle of bourbon, maybe Southern Comfort or
That's
Jack
probably
Daniels,
how they found her. It's because it's like there's this bar on the corner that's taking in all this whiskey and barrels of beer, but it's closed.
Well, it seems to have been closed for months, but the whiskey's still going. Maybe that's it. But yes, that's our whiskey watch for the episode. Not seeing any labels, unfortunately. And I have one quote from the episode that I really wanted to have a chat about, John, because we did talk about this during our watch. Heather Glenn, when she has a little shiver from somebody watching outside, which turns out to be Poindexter, she says, "My grandma used to say it's like a goose walking over your grave." That phrase is a ghost walking over your grave, isn't it?
Yeah, or someone. I think someone's just walked over my grave.
Yes, someone just walked
absolutely.
Over. Yeah, someone
well, that's
walked
how
over my
I've
future
always
grave.
said it.
Yeah.
That, not a goose.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just sounds so weird, because it's like, well, my grandma used to say it's a duckling walking over your grave, or
not my grandma. It was a lion walking over my
or
grave.
a polar bear. Or
So
something.
so weird. Yeah, it seems to be a mistranslation. We did look it up afterwards, and weirdly, they're saying it came from Irish, but it doesn't. The goose walking over your grave is a reference to having goosebumps when
Yes.
something odd happens. So they're saying that could have been where it all got mixed up, that you have goosebumps because your feeling of someone walking over your grave became a goose walking over your grave.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I kind of love that. I think it speaks a little bit to the melting pot that is New York. So many different languages, so many people speaking
exactly.
English as their second language, third, fifth language in some cases. So some of the old sayings of grandparents may have gotten funneled down really weirdly through time. But then again, I'm also the person that thought it was you wouldn't say boo to a ghost, and it turned out you wouldn't say boo to a goose as well.
It is.
So
You wouldn't say
maybe
boo to a goose.
maybe geese are in every single saying.
I guess geese are just evil
Maybe, or maybe they're
or
just
scary.
part of every saying. Maybe it's "May the goose rise before you" instead of "May the road rise before you." I don't know. I'm not one for phrases.
Or it's
So,
4 and
there you
20 goose baked in a
go.
pie.
Baked in a pie, maybe.
Geese even.
Although that could be a good pie. Goose pie would be
Oh,
nice.
so lovely. Yeah.
Any other notes from you, John, for the episode?
No, that's all from me.
Fantastic. Silence. Do you defend this episode? So, John, do you defend this episode? Season 2, episode 2, Shoot the Moon.
I do. I would give this 4 gaggles of geese over graves out of 5.
No way.
Yes.
Fantastic.
I really enjoyed this. I think lots of tense stuff going on, whether it's with Poindexter. It feels very shadowy. I think, and lots of, like, as I say, Poindexter lurking at the fringes. I think just the positions that Sheila, Daniel, BB find themselves in terms of that Russian doll of threats coming down. I think it's just really good. The general awfulness of the AVTF. It's great to see Angela kind of coming back to the fore here, despite in a tragic way, and we'll see how that goes. So I just thought this was really kind of built nicely on the first episode. So yeah. And I think the stuff around Angela's Aunt Soledad was really hard to watch, given,
Yes.
as you say, yes, it was shot way before Minnesota. And yes, Marvel has always said that it should reflect the outside world.
Yeah.
It's just a shame that outside world, at least for America, is that kind of situation.
Absolutely.
Certainly for certain states or certain cities that maybe just hadn't voted the way someone in the Oval Office wanted it to.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
So, and as Wilson Fisk is doing on a different scale here within this show, and there is an interesting conversation where Vanessa's basically saying, how many more worlds do you need to conquer? You know, this notion of, well, is New York enough for Wilson Fisk? Will it be the White House? Will it be something else? And he's like, well, how many worlds are there? You know, as they kind of want to, you know, is it consolidate, which is Vanessa, or expand, which you see that flash going off in Wilson Fisk's mind?
Or is this Wilson Fisk going into the multiverse and conquering every version of New York across all the multiverses? Remember that the animated movie that the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse had Kingpin going across the multiverse. Maybe we'll have this version of Wilson Fisk traveling across the multiverse with Dr. Doom in tow, and they conquer the multiverses in various places.
I think it'll be the other way around. I think Fisk will be in tow to Dr. Doom.
Possibly, yeah.
I would say so. Or they'll be competing against one another. I don't think neither of those two would want to be in tow to anyone.
That's true.
I think it would be that. But yeah, no, I really do defend this episode of Daredevil. I gave it 4 gaggles of geese over graves out of 5.
Very good. Very good.
Boo. Dragoose. And Derek, on that note, do you defend this episode of Daredevil Born Again? Shoot the moon? Or maybe the new phrase is shoot the goose.
Shoot the goose. Maybe we just replace all of our words with goose. I'm sure AI could do that. Yes, I absolutely defend this episode. Just because of that impending dread that I've got, you know. We've mentioned a couple of really good examples of shows that do this really well. Things like Handmaid's Tale, like Man in the High Castle, like V the movie from the 80s. There's hundreds of examples of this, but I love this idea of the resistance building, of things going on in the street in various parts of New York where other people are coming to the same conclusions as our main characters are coming to about Kingpin. Some on the side of Kingpin, some on the side of Matt, some don't even know each other, but hopefully they'll start connecting over the course of this season. But it's really cool. I'm loving seeing that build and just seeing that dread. You know, can you put a foot out of place? A woman here told a teenager to not drink a bottle of beer from not to steal and drink a bottle of beer from a local bodega, and here she is being thrown into a van and taken away to prison effectively. Yeah. Can you do anything in Fisk's New York to stop yourself from getting thrown in the back of a van? You know, as Mayor Fisk, BB's character, in the takedown videos is saying, "I'm taking down vigilantes or just people that I don't like." Is effectively it. So yeah, love it. Really good, really strong second episode for the show. Very excited to see what's coming up. But John, I think we need to bring our own whiskey down to Josie's Bar. Maybe some Green Spot whiskey,
I think maybe? So. Lovely Irish whiskey. Yeah. That or Redbreast, I think. We need to wet our whistle. Yes. Welcome, fellow defenders and, of course, fellow quizzers.
Yes.
To our second question for this season of Josie's Bar Quiz.
John, do you wholeheartedly swear this question is going to be more difficult than last week's question?
I think it is. It's not the name of the episode. Okay, let's put it that way.
Good stuff.
Question 2 from episode 2 in season 2. Mm-hmm. What does Daniel cook BB Urich for their working dinner?
Very good. Very good. With the help of a recipe. But what is it? Yes, John, I'm going to give the question one more time.
Yes. What does Daniel cook BB Urich for their working dinner?
Fantastic. That's the second question of 8 for this season of Daredevil Born Again. You can email us to feedback@tvpodcastindustries.com at the end of the season with all of your correct answers for all the questions that we're giving out, or popping over to our website, tvpodcastindustries.com, and you can find all the questions up there as the season goes on. We'll be releasing one every week after each podcast. We can't wait to hear your thoughts. You can also email us there with any of your thoughts on these episodes of Daredevil Born Again, or pop on over to our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/TV Podcast Industries for the spoiler posts over there. You can also pop onto our Discord at the link that's in the show notes right here for this very episode. Join us over there.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, remember, fellow defenders, you can support us through our Patreon account and our buymeacoffee.com account. Just look for TV Podcast Industries. Importantly, feedback. Also, you can support the podcast through sharing your feedback on the episodes and, of course, by sharing the podcast, because sharing the podcast is sharing the love.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely. Certainly needed in the age of Wilson Fisk.
Yeah. We'll be back next time with the second episode released this week of Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Episode 3, The Scales and the Sword. And, of course, the next question in our Josie's Bar quiz. Thanks so much for joining us. Talk to you next time.
Yes, thanks so much, fellow defenders, as always, for joining us. Until our next podcast, keep watching, keep listening, and, of course, keep defending.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome back, fellow offenders. Fellow offenders.
Fellow offenders. And of course, as always, if you're joining us afresh, please head on over to Defenders T.
I think that's it on that moment. Let's move on to our case note number 4.
Get it, got it, good.
That's not the right one. Let's move on to our case note number 4.
Get it, got it, good.